Dumela ntate, how are you doing today?
Ke phetse le phetse jwang?
Ke hlotse sentle ka jeno.
Aha.
Ke nna fatshe mo tlong, ke ja dijo, ke nwa Coca-Cola, ka fela, ke monate.
Yeah, lucky you that you're having something to drink. I'm thirsty.
So tell us, Ntate, you're coming from, you said you had a meeting with some guys that we were talking about in the pre-show. Tell us all about it. Well, what was that all about?
Oh yes, I was invited by the youth in Lesotho, and yeah, and they wanted to know how my nature of an unbelieving person who's skeptical fits in the decolonizing of the mind of the African.
Yeah.
That's
a very interesting topic.
Yeah, I never thought it would take an hour discussing that.
It's interesting, I don't know that this thing about decolonizing the mind is something that I was thinking about a lot lately, and I don't know, it's there's always such a strong political connection to it as well, especially in our South African context. There's a very strong political connection to it, but the most powerful connection is the religious one. And it's strange, because we all experience this journey as children growing up, and eventually we let go of the things that made us feel safe. As we become adults and we learn about the world and we grow in the world, we let go of all these things that used to give us comfort, that used to make us feel safe. But for some reason, there's this one thing that people don't want to let go of.
That means that they don't feel safe as yet in that area. There's a lot of insecurities in the area of spirituality. People should come out and be honest what is spirituality, because that word, I'm telling you, it's controlling a lot of people.
Yeah, it's true. And it's a word that actually has, if you ask somebody, what is spirituality? Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for a lot of long stories that mean absolutely nothing, because nobody.
Because it's nothing. It's actually nothing.
Exactly.
Somebody said, whenever a person says they had a spiritual experience, talk to them and check what experience it is, and every time they will tell you emotional thing. So according to him, he thinks that people, when they talk about emotions, they just say spirituality to sound religious, or what. I don't know what's that word. It gives them some piousness.
Exactly. Because we have words. I'm guilty of this myself. It's like a filler word. It doesn't mean anything, but we keep on using it in day-to-day speech. For example, the word like. I'm so guilty. It's a word that means nothing. And there's so many better ways of expressing the experience, but it's a word that keeps on popping up when we don't, when the mind is running for something else to say. It throws that word.
And also it depends on how much you have heard that word. The more it has been used, then the more it occupies your mind.
Correct. Yeah. It's interesting. A while ago, I had this I did this presentation or talk on morality, and where morality comes from, and this is something that believers in religion, and it can be any religion, that all of the religions claim exactly the same thing, that morality is not something that comes from people, but it is something that is, it comes from the sky. It comes from the sky via some spiritual conductor, and if people don't have this kind of this extra plug-in to their software, they're going to crash.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
How are you going to manage your life if you don't believe in God?
Exactly.
They ask, as if
Yeah,
God
yeah.
was not created by us.
Exactly. The funny thing is, I say to myself, in 2023, if you follow the morality of the Bible, for example, or the Quran, for example, any of the Abrahamic religions, even the Eastern religions, there's some sects of Hinduism as well. They are brutal. They're brutal in the way that they dish out justice and the way that they treat half of the population, which is the female gender.
Mhm.
The absolute brutality of these religions in 2023. I really hope, and I pray to the dead ghost of Christopher Hitchens that that people don't that people don't follow that book, because the world will be a terrible place. It'll be a terrible place indeed. So
Yeah.
what I've done beforehand is I did a bit of research, and I have this little write up here that I did. And it's basically five points that we need to consider when we attribute morality. So let me jump in. Let me just start my prompter here. And let me just read it off. I'm not going to bore you to tears. Trust me, I'll be quick. Okay, so.
No, bore me as much as you want to. I'm in the presence of a pope. Bore me.
In nomine Padre, Spiritus Sancto. Hear the words. Okay. So let me read this off here quickly. So, in a constantly evolving world, it's important that we all have moral and ethical frameworks that push us forward and contribute to societal progress. So that is where this idea of secular morality comes in. It's an alternative to religious morality because it focuses on adaptability and encourages continuous improvement. So let's look at how secular morality drives societal progress and helps us to tackle all the challenges that we have in our time. So firstly, secular morality adopts to scientific advances. Secular morality is all about using reason and evidence to guide our ethical choices. So this means as our scientific understanding expands, secular morality can adapt and incorporate new knowledge into its framework. From emerging technologies, advances we make in biology, to environmental challenges, secular morality will take all of this into account according to the latest scientific findings. And by doing so, it ensures that our ethical guidelines stay relevant and informed in the face of all these new discoveries. So this is the exact antithesis to religion. Religion is very, very set. It's unchangeable. You've heard those. Even the Muslims say this book has not had one letter changed from the time that the angel spoke to the man in the desert in the tent.
Yeah. So being proud of it not being dynamic.
But this is the thing, if we find out tomorrow that something is harmful, that, for example, take a prime example, slavery. We discovered that slavery is not good for the slaves. who would have known? Who would have known that the slaves were not going to like being enslaved?
Yeah.
And
And
changed.
sometimes I even ask myself, if Yahweh was real, how would he have felt when he see people seeing the mistakes as, hey, look, he agreed on it and it's not good?
Yeah.
Would he have sent Gabriel to say, hey, go and tell people that I'm sorry? It was good for that time and I made a mistake. For now, I can see now they're clever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
No, and I would rather have something that is adaptable, that changes with the times, that changes with society, than something that's fixed. Because I haven't been alive for very long. It's almost a half a century. But I've learned in life that things always change. Things are constantly
Mm.
changing. The world around me changes. People change. Situations change. Environments change. And if I don't adapt and change with those things, I tend to get left behind. In in all this this being stuck in the same set of rules. So I'm all for that, and I agree completely. This is where secular morality is far superior to the morality that you find within religion. I'm
And
also going.
the other danger that can happen is if a morality it's religious and it's seen as old by people who still love religion, and then they start living a double life.
Mm, mm,
Okay, we love religion, but we hear, but we'll do our stuff. We'll go to church again, and I think the most churches are experiencing that now,
yeah,
where
yeah,
people just pay lip service to being religious, but their lifestyle is not that.
yeah.
Once they leave the church, they become themselves. So, this is John. What were you saying?
What did we used to call them? They There was a special name. We used to call them Sunday morning Christians or something along those lines,
Uh-huh.
where, where they only know Jesus on a Sunday morning, But the Saturday evening they were in the club, and they were just having
Uh-huh.
a grand old time.
But that is the result of following rigid morality, which is written how many centuries ago?
Yeah, 20. No, more than 20. Probably like, I mean, when was the
Yeah,
Ten Commandments? Ten Commandments comes, what they say that was basically probably like 5,000 years ago, if you can
yeah,
take that.
because they came even before that from Egypt.
Yeah, yeah.
The
And
person
what
who
was
claims that it Moses just copied them. So,
exactly, there's this, I heard it said that the Code of Hammurabi was that came from the Sumerians, if I'm not mistaken, and the Sumerians and the Egyptians, they all had similar sets of laws or contracts to govern the society, and in comes the Jewish tribe, and all they did is they copied and said, that sounds like a good idea.
mm,
Well, the Bible says this in this chapter in this verse.
yeah, but, but also when you look at the Quran, also you can see that the person who was writing it had access to the Bible.
Yeah,
So
definitely,
it's
definitely.
an improvement.
Whoa, well, that's debatable. Right. Let's move on to the next one. Right. So we touched a little bit on this, but secular morality, in my opinion, is something that embraces evolving societal norms. So because our society is constantly changing, And secular morality embraces that. It recognizes that our society evolves over time and attitudes and perspectives shift. Secular morality is all about being open to these changes and adjusting its ethical guidelines accordingly, whether it's issues like gender equality, LGBTQ rights, social justice. Secular morality incorporates evolving societal understandings into its moral frameworks. Now, this flexibility is what allows it to stay relevant and inclusive as our society progresses. Again, we've touched on this a little bit before, and things that were considered completely taboo 50 years ago. I mean, when I grew up as a young boy, I remember there were things that we didn't dare to do that nowadays is commonplace, like the way that people speak to older people, for example. When I grew up, you dare to disrespect an older person, and your ass will be burning until you go to bed at night. You'd get such a hiding. And nowadays,
not even from one adult, a few of them are going to exchange you.
But you see, it's just like our society has been exposed to so much more information, and we've got so much more knowledge at our fingertips now that that idea of one person is an authority figure, and their say is the final say. And that's been coming for centuries with the head of the household, and if the head of the household fails, the entire household perishes, because nobody had food and nobody had shelter. And then all of a sudden now, everybody has information at their fingertips. If I don't like something, I can go find out how to do it. I can change my mind about something. And I think with that being taken out of the equation, what happens is that society changes much more rapidly than people are used to. And religion doesn't like that. It likes everything to be, the man is the head of the whole, the woman, and, especially in high control religions, like the JWs, like the, some of the Christian denominations are very fundamentalist. And what happens is they have specific gender roles, firstly. They have specific morality roles that, guide everything from the way that you interact with other people to even the sex position that you have with your partner, is regulated by religion. Certain styles are not allowed. It's crazy.
Even though it's not even written in the scriptures.
Exactly, but they will regulate these things.
It's them that would say, no, that's not taboo. That's not taboo.
It's not appropriate. Yeah.
You see,
there's this.
It looks like a dog. It looks like a dog. You are not an animal.
That's a very interesting comment. The Quran was the worst book I ever read. It made the Bible look great. That's really saying a lot. That's really saying a lot. Yeah. Let's continue here. So
the Facebook user, do you know that you can get a permission to show your name?
Yeah.
By the way, how is it done?
You have to give the StreamYard app permission to read your name on your Facebook page.
Okay. Is it possible for a user to do it themselves, or?
Yes, you have to do it yourself.
Okay.
So you have to go and it's in your settings. You go and find your apps and then StreamYards, and then you just give it permission to see your name. But the thing. I always love how especially the Christians are their mouths are very, very big when they talk about morality. But when you actually sit down with them and you talk about morality and the type of morality that they want to impose on the world, you find out that it's a la carte. It's like sitting in a restaurant,
No,
you go.
but I'm a sinner. I'm a sinner. You know that Jesus came specifically for me.
But it's true, I'll go, they'll go to the restaurant and they'll say, thank you very much, waiter. I'm ready to order my food now. For starters, I want to have gentle Jesus, meek and mild, help the poor, help the needy. For main course, I'm going to have living in heaven forever, sitting at the side of God, living my best life in heaven. And then for dessert, we'll have some do unto others as they do unto you. But no, I don't want to order from that page that says slavery, genocide, murder, raping, torturing, killing. That page is, that food is a bit rich for me. Like I eat that food and I'm sick for a day. So I'll just order from the first pages. Like that's nice tasting.
Yeah.
And what did Jesus say about lukewarm lukewarm food? You spit it out.
Yeah. It's somewhere in Revelation.
You know the verse that I'm talking about, yeah. But
You
I didn't enjoy it.
You are not warm. You are not cool.
You are lukewarm.
So I'm going to puke you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Temperature is going down. Let me just take the coat on the wall.
Yeah, Shamey, how you're recovering from a cold, aren't you? Last week you were not feeling very well. I think that the Christians were praying that you got sick. Wow,
yeah. When you say that, did you see Esther got a reply? Somebody saying very soon there's an imminent there's going to be an imminent announcement of her death. Rather than
you know what I call them? I call those love letters from Christians.
Rather than addressing what is being addressed, a person would go and say, you are going to die very soon. Not that it's new. I got it before, and I just tell them, yes, I know that I'm going to die. I don't know when, but anytime I die, like dying now.
Everybody's gonna die,
Yeah, and
there's not one person that lives longer than 150, as far as I know.
Gee, 150, that would be cruel. Eh? In fact, even 120 is cruel. 100 and some 90 or so.
If I get to 100, I'll be like, that's it, thank you. Imagine you're going to be old, you're going to be walking with a stick, you can't chew your food.
Yeah, you want to go upstairs, you can't. You try to cough, then you cough with both upstairs and doesn't. No.
when you cough, your teeth come with your.
No. At a certain point, dying makes sense, and you just give others a chance.
Yeah.
And you give the ecosystem a chance to use you as a manure.
Exactly. Recycling, like recycling was a part of nature way before it became trendy in the 2000s.
Uh-huh.
Nature knows about recycling. So let's talk next about another failure of religious morality, and this is what I call the ethical dilemmas. So when new ethical dilemmas emerge in the world, we know the world always keeps throwing new ethical challenges our way. Secular morality is always ready to tackle them head on. From things like artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, privacy concerns, bodily autonomy, all of these things. Secular morality's rational and evidence-based approach helps us to analyze and navigate these complex issues by encouraging interdisciplinary discussions involving experts from various fields. And in doing so, secular morality ensures that there's a comprehensive and informed approach to emerging ethical dilemmas. It also allows us to make informed choices and to navigate the uncharted waters of our rapidly changing world. And I love this. I don't remember where I heard this saying, where it says, the only constant thing in the universe is change. That's the only thing that's the only thing that's the same. So the creatures that are not change resistant are the ones that are going to be more successful and the ones that are going to endure and survive. So this is another thing. And the way that the world is progressing at the moment, every single day there's new. We are at the frontiers of the discoveries that science are making. We're discovering new galaxies, new planets. We're learning so much more about the human organism, the world that we're living on, and you have to be flexible because some of these things, provide a real ethical dilemma. For example, you think of things like cloning. If you could find, for example, your grandmother's hair follicle on some brush in the cupboard, is it ethical to clone your grandmother, to bring, another person that looks like, that has the body and everything of grandma, not the mind, obviously, because that's learned, but there's ethical implications and things that we discover as we go through.
Sometimes it's not even on such issues of bringing a person back. Something like using stem cells to
cure diseases,
to build organs. Religion has not even given a clear direction there because they are opposing on the stem cell usage.
Yeah. I don't think, what do you think the Jehovah's Witnesses view is on this? Because, they don't even like blood transfusions. So if you approach them with a cloned organ to save a member of the governing body's life, do you think they'll go for it?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. You see there also, that's where you'll see that men are going to come with their ideas and then force it on the whole organization because the governing body is the one that is going to decide on such things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, every time I speak to you, I remember about the hardcore things I hear from that organization. Damn, they don't play.
Yeah.
They don't play.
They look at the scriptures literally.
Yeah. Are they young Earth creationists? Do they believe it was like 6,000 years ago, or are they old Earth creationists, like long ago and far away in time?
They are the ones who they do believe that humanity is 6,000 years, but creation was longer than that.
Okay.
Then
that's more reasonable. Like I can I can at least sit in the same table as somebody like that and have lunch, but these people, there's some Christians, they go 6,000 years ago, God said poof, and then mudman, rib woman, the talking snake in the garden, the zoo boat.
According to Jehovah's Witnesses, then it's hundreds of thousands of years that creation took place.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's I never thought I would live to see the day where I said to myself, Jehovah's Witnesses sound like a very reasonable. Yeah. Sorry, I digress. Let's continue here. So also, when it comes to moral progress, secular morality recognizes that our moral journey is a never-ending process. It acknowledges that ethical principles can be refined and improved over time. And this commitment to progress is at the core of secular morality. It encourages dialogue, debate, introspection, and it allows us to explore ethical questions more deeply and develop more refined ethical guidelines. So, by recognizing our capacity for moral progress, secular morality ensures that our ethical standards keep pace with societal advancements. And it also reflects our ongoing commitment to improvement, to self-improvement, and the well-being and flourishing of individuals and communities. So, in conclusion, it's like in a nutshell, to summarize everything, secular morality is a driving force for progress. By adapting to scientific advances, embracing evolving societal norms, tackling emerging ethical dilemmas, and promoting continual moral progress, secular morality guides us towards a better future. It's all about using reason, evidence, open-mindedness, and navigating the complexities of our ever-changing world. So, in order to create a more informed, inclusive, and progressive society that benefits everybody on the planet, there's no other option but to embrace some form of secular humanism. Because if you are going to look to the desert, the 6,000-year-old desert guide to keeping goats and building cities, it's not going to end well. We're going to have slaves, we're going to beat women, we're going to be in constant wars, and also that a Jewish carpenter can be put on a stick by the Romans to forgive us for what we might have done. Doesn't make sense. I don't know. It never sit well with me.
Also, what you are still going to do?
Yes. For what I'm thinking. Forgive me for what I'm thinking. Thought crime. Tate Polelang. Thought crime for what you are thinking. Those are sinful ideas. Yeah. So, like I said, the invitation stands. The invitation stands to everybody every Friday at 5 p.m. South African time, GMT +2. We are going to have this platform. We're going to discuss the way that we think as atheists. We invite any theist to come on and have a discussion with us. There's only one requirement, and the requirement is that you put your camera on and show your face. Don't be ashamed of Jesus, and don't be ashamed of representing Jesus. Show yourself to the world. Come speak to us and tell us why you believe, why we should believe you, and let's see if you actually have something that is of interest and of value to us, because we've been there. We've looked at it from all different angles. It's not a decision that one makes very lightly. It's not, I didn't wake up one morning and it was cold and said, oh, why did Jesus make the world cold? I'm not going to stop believing in him. It was a very long...
It happens gradually.
And it's not a quick thing either. It's not something that happens. It's not very, very few people, and I've spoken to a lot of atheists, very few of them, if any, say that it was like that and they stopped believing. I'm sure, there was a turn. There's always a turning point. But it's like, it's that saying where they say it's death by 1,000 cuts. It's like every single time somebody makes a cut and makes a cut and and eventually you die from all the blood loss, it was like that for me, and it was the further along I went, the easier it was to let go. So don't be afraid. There is a community of people. There's a community of people who think just like you do. If you are doubting or if you have any questions, there's a community of people. We have people in 4 different cities, groups of people here in South Africa who think just like that. Reach out to us, come join us. And
lady during the week when I said that, it says, why are you recruiting innocent souls? I said,
the thing is, Ntate, like for me, it is about marginalization. Like
exactly. That's
here
what
is a
I told
community.
you.
Here is a community of people. The only thing that's different between me and every single other believer on this planet is just one thing. It's just one thing. It's belief. We
Mhm.
are we are the same human beings. We eat, we work, we sleep, we poop, we love, we have homes, we go to work. Everything else is the same. It's just one thing that's
But what do
different.
you eat?
Well, at least
That's ideas.
I don't plan a feast after sacrificing my son to God. Like at least that's not
Yeah.
on the menu.
Yeah. So also, I told this lady that recruiting is actively looking for people who are not in the position that you are talking about. Here I'm calling people already who find themselves alienated out there, that there is support. You don't have to be alone. You don't have to be disheartened. We know that people reject you, and sometimes people behave as if you are crazy, even though you can see that it's them that are crazy. Then come be with others, and as a group, will work better.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And when it's spring here in Cape Town, before we had the pandemic, we had meetings every now and then. I won't say regularly because that would be a lie. But every now and then we used to have meetings. We'll go for breakfast in the company gardens, and just to meet with other people face to face, socialize, talk about things that we want to do, directions that we want to move in. And
Mm.
we are all for that. We are all for community building because the church does not have a monopoly on creating communities. That's the one thing that the atheist movement can learn from religious organizations. They are damn good at building communities. People get a
Yeah.
sense of belonging. People feel that they're part of something because they have a shared doctrine and a shared ideology. Um, but we're not trying to replace that. We're just trying to create an alternative space. An alternative space where like-minded people can share ideas. Think of it as a chess club or a bridge club or something that you do after
Mm.
hours, with like-minded people. And we'll create that community for you. We run 2 shows every week. This weekend we didn't have a meet the atheist segment. The guest that I was recruiting to come and talk to us still hasn't gotten back to me yet. But as soon as she does, we'll have a great conversation with her as well. We run programming in English, in Afrikaans, in Sesotho. We are looking for somebody who speaks isiZulu or any one of the Nguni languages, isiXhosa, or is there? There's only 2 languages in the Nguni group, Ndate. It's isiZulu and isiXhosa,
No,
right?
there's Zulu, Xhosa, Swati, Ndebele,
Yeah. Anybody from
isiXhumbi, Simpondo. There are many.
yeah. But like I said, we have the 2 major language groups. The Sesotho group, represented by Ntate Bolelanga. He does Sesotho talk for us once every month. We're looking for anybody from the Nguni languages. If you are willing to volunteer your time and to give back to your community, please reach out to me. You can reach me on Facebook. I'm in all the Atheist Republic Facebook groups, so just message me and we can set something up, and we can represent every single culture that we have in our country, because we are all about diversity and inclusion. We have got Wesley on here. Wesley, I'm not going to let you in the stream unless you switch on your camera. So while you figure that out, nice. Wesley, how are you doing?
Fine. I asked Jesus to shine the light on your hands and mouths today until 4 p.m. And the vision is shut to all of you who are similitude, and I'm not going to open it up to the similitude again. That's all I wanted to say. Those ashes, when you take the omnibar, will be
How is
gray
he
scabs
going
in
to
your
do
skin.
it?
The ashes
How
will
is
become
Jesus
gray
going
scabs in
to?
your skin when you're branded with the omnibar.
I have no idea what you are talking about.
Well, get your omnibar and you'll find out. Have a good day.
What is an
similitude.
omnibar? Oh, well.
Find out. Hey, I'll tell you what. Can I be the one that brands it into your forehead, please?
I'm not much into branding, Wesley. I mean, it's a bit kinky for me, you know. Like I draw the line at S&M. You know, like branding is not. Oh, was it something I said? Yeah.
No, he was not up for an intellectual discussion. He came at the time. You know, sometimes people behave as if this is a fan club.
Yeah.
This is a life. And
but the funny thing is, you know, like I was thinking about it. There's obviously some, because I'm trying to, like, in my mind put two and two together. There's obviously some apocalyptic element to that, and some kind of I don't know what was he calling it, some brand, and the only brand that I can think of is the brand in the last couple of Revelations, where people are imprinted with chips and branded with demon signs and nonsense like that.
We were talking in tongues.
I have no idea, you know, like, and I mean, here you have two atheists sitting here. We are begging you for clarity. We want to understand why you believe what you believe and what it is that you believe and why we should believe it too, because we're not convinced. And what do we get?
Yeah,
We get,
but
blah, 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 branding you with some blah, 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 branding. I mean, like,
yeah. He started with what he said. He's asking Jesus to shine what? To shine light in our hands, or what?
Yeah, my light. I don't know. You know, like, there's no Jesus but
because we want somebody who's going to talk about things that are practical, things that we can make sense of. Wesley just, I don't know. He sounded very superstitious and impractical.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, like, and I've got like two studio lights here, so I don't know if Jesus is behind the light. You know, maybe Jesus is working on the lighting crew. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. You know, I don't. At the risk of sounding arrogant, you know, and that I just want to say, like, you know, I've thought about this a long time. You know, like, I won't consider myself an erudite or an intelligent atheist. You know, but I've heard a few arguments. You know, and I've heard a few. People have thrown this in quite a couple of different directions past me, and I'm still not convinced. You know, and if this is the best that can come to us, then I don't know. You know, I don't have a lot of hope for Christianity and for the future of Christianity.
No, but with time we'll get people who really put their mind into why they're
exactly
Christians.
That's what I want.
I don't think Wesley has put his mind into it.
Yeah.
He must be a believer, just a believer, not somebody who has done research or who can.
I mean, you know, like, it would be easier. You know, I would have had more respect for him if he came and said, "You are going to hell. You're going to burn in hell forever." Bye. I would have had more respect for that, because it's honest and it's real and it's truthful and it's relatable and it's really how he feels. To come with some obscure esoteric reference to some revelation brand and this and I mean, like, bruh, like, really? Yeah, I don't know.
But the question is, in the audience there, do we have somebody who who can engage us, who is coming from a different side, who's a theist, really would enjoy it.
Yeah,
We would like to have an intellectual type of discussion.
I agree.
Not something that is emotional and doesn't have depth.
You know, I am just a regular. I am dumb as a box of crayons. I'm really. I just completed high school. I'm dumb as a rock atheist. You know, so you're gonna really have to speak to me like you would speak to the barman at your local pub. You know, like you can't come to me with all this. I don't even remember the word he used. I don't know if that
the
is
type of thing that after the life I've got to rewind and listen and hear exactly what.
I didn't expect that Jesus was going to be this complicated. You know, at least the Quran, at least the Quran said it's easy. Anybody can understand it. You know, like, and here we have, and here we have Christians coming to us with stuff that we don't understand, and then when we ask about it, I don't know. You know. I don't know. Yeah. What is your take on that? What do you like deep down? You know, like when you go to bed at night and you close your eyes, you get ready to sleep. Where do you think morality comes from?
From humans.
Exactly. Yeah.
In fact, even people who wrote books and call them holy books, they are humans and they learned from humanity as in general. They looked, okay, if I take these things, people are going to like them because these are the things that they are concerned about.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no culture without morality.
Exactly. We wouldn't have survived this long if we didn't have some kind of sense of right and wrong. And, you know, wait a minute, if people steal my stuff, I feel bad. You know, why? I don't want to steal other people's stuff because then they're going to feel bad. You know, if you lack that, it's not that you lack morality, you lack empathy, you lack compassion if you are not behaving in a moral way. And
humans in general have empathy.
Exactly, because we're thinking apes. You know, we're thinking apes. We we have higher brain function than most, but even single-celled organisms, they they can sense other organisms, and they come together in colonies, and they form organisms by coming together in colonies. And so even single-celled organisms have some form of cooperation and empathy with their environment and their fellow creatures, but no, you wouldn't know that you can't kill and murder when you walk out your door if it wasn't for the desert god of the Arabs or the desert god of the Jews. I mean, who are you? You're just stupid to figure out that you don't have to kill. You need some religion to give you rules. Like, otherwise, how do you know how to behave?
Because even animals, they don't just kill. There must be a reason why they kill.
Exactly. Yeah.
And morality itself allows to kill in certain conditions.
Yes. We do kill and consider it moral in certain circumstances. You're right. When we are threatened in war, we will kill, and we will have no problem with it. When we have outliers in our society, people who behave destructively, people who are a detriment to the society, like serial killers, like murderers, like torturers, we are very quick to dish out a version of morality on them. People who don't abide by the rules of society, we remove them from society and we keep them locked up so that they can reform. So they can reform their behavior. So and the funny thing is, what I've noticed now later in life, I've noticed that there's such a difference from society to society. You know, like for example, what is moral here in Cape Town, if you take that to a village in the Congo, for
Oh yeah,
example, completely different.
yeah.
And you take it to a city in Europe, in Sweden, for example, completely different. People have a different sense of what is right and wrong, what's allowable, what's not allowable. The laws are different. The people behave different. So
Mm.
you know that to me is
Especially when it comes to issues of sex also. Certain places they find certain things very, very taboo.
Mm. Because religion is a control mechanism. It's a control mechanism that people use to exert power and control over societies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the Church of England, for example. You know, the way that I don't even want to get started on this colonization road because you know, I've spoken to a couple of atheists, like from up continent, and um, there's such a rich history of African societies and African innovation and African development pre-colonialism. They are
Mm-hmm.
discovering archaeological sites where there are complex societies that thrived in Africa. And then we have this Western imposition of this, you know, religion, and all of a sudden it just it annihilated all of that. You know, like, and I'm asking myself, where would African culture be had it not been? Sure, you know, the Europeans could have come and colonized the continent. They're going to do that. It's expansionism. It happens. It happens even in within communities. You'll have local communities expanding and going and taking over another communities. That happens. But if they did not introduce that element of religion that forced the African people to think in this mindset that you know, they're being enslaved, they're being conquered. You know, like where would we be as a people? You know, if that element was missing from it, you know, and that element of conquer came exclusively from the dictates of religion. The Arabs did it
Yeah, we would be a different civilization than
completely.
the one we are.
Yeah.
The sad thing is that you won't know
You'll never know. You'll never
how
know.
it would have looked like.
Mm, mm,
But the bad side is that I could have not been born because uh, it would be different people who procreate and
yeah,
have different conclusions.
it's that story that they tell you, if when a butterfly flaps its wings in China, then it
Oh
causes
yes,
a tornado. It causes a tornado somewhere else.
what do they call them? Those physicists? Yeah, physicists talk things like that. Everything that happens, even Wesley coming here and speaking that little thing,
Yeah,
it did something to the whole trajectory of humanity.
of the universe. The universe is going in a different trajectory because of that interaction.
uh,
Yeah, but Ndate, I think let's wrap it up here. You know, we've waited long enough for Jesus to send somebody to come and talk to us today. I don't
at
think
least it's an improvement. We had somebody come, speak,
exactly.
and look at us.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Uh,
it's definitely an improvement. You know, this is the third
Last week
episode.
it's somebody who wanted to swear. This time it's
Yeah.
somebody who had something that we still have to go and decipher. And next week
No,
we'll
no.
be having a longer discussion, maybe.
Yeah. Hopefully next time. You know, we just want to have an authentic conversation. Like Bolelang said, we you know, all these interactions. I'm speaking for myself now. You know, I've been interacting with theists for like almost 1.5 decades. And the thing is, you can only hear, you're going to burn in hell, you're damned, Jesus is going to roast you, you're a child of Satan, why are you doing this? You can only hear that so many times before something snaps. Something snaps inside, and you have to cope with this like in a humorous way. There's if I have to get upset that every time somebody tells me I'm going to burn in hell with my daddy Satan, if I had to get upset about that.
There's nothing that makes one agree. It is funny.
Yeah. But you know what the funny thing? Let's close out on this, right? The funny thing is that we don't believe in Satan. They believe in Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Christians
believe because
in
it's the package. It's the package, this thing.
It's the package,
Without God, there's no Satan.
No Satan, and no Satan, no need for God either, So think about that. You might as well think about that.
Imagine Superman there without villains.
Exactly. Oh, that's so
you
funny.
must fit in the story.
Exactly. It's going to be a boring story if it's only a hero, Okay, Tate, let's close it off there. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll keep doing this. Let's hope that we find we get some believers with courage, because they must have the courage of their convictions. The book tells them, 1 Peter 3:15, it says, "But in all things revere Christ as Lord, and always be prepared to give a reason for the faith that is within you."
Hallelujah.
Amen, sis. Keep well, guys. We'll see you next weekend.
Bye.